Daniel Defoe, Robinson Crusoe, Part 156. Bound hand and foot as the Spaniard was for the slaughter, and almost dead with fear, not knowing what was the matter, for he had not been able to look up over the side of the boat. He was tied so hard, neck and heels, and had been tied so long that he had really but little life in him. I immediately cut the twisted flags or rushes which they had bound him with, and would have helped him up, but he could not stand or speak, but groaned most piteously, believing, it seems, still that he was only unbound in order to be killed. When Friday came to him, I bade him speak to him and tell him of his deliverance, and pulling out my bottle, made him give the poor wretch a dram, which, with the news of his being delivered, revived him, and he sat up in the boat. But when Friday came to hear him speak and look in his face, it would have moved any one to tears to have seen how Friday kissed him, embarrassed him, hugged him, cried, laughed, hallooed, jumped about, danced, sang, then cried again, ran his hands beat his own face and head, and then sang and jumped about again like a distracted creature. It was a good while before I could make him speak to me or tell me what was the matter. But when he came a little to himself, he told me that it was his father. It is not easy for me to express how it moved me to see what exactly and filial affection had worked in this poor savage at the sight of his father and of his being delivered from death. Nor indeed can I describe half the extravagances of his affection after this, for he went into the boat and out of the boat a great many times. When he went in to him, he would sit down by him, open his breast, and hold his father's head close to his bosom for many minutes together, to nourish it. Then he took his arms and ankles, which were numbed and stiff with the blinding, and chafed and rubbed them with his hands, and I, perceiving what the case was, gave him some rum out of my bottle, and to rub them with, which did them a great deal of good. This affair put an end to our pursuit of the canoe with the other savages, who were now almost out of sight, and it was happy for us that we did not, for it blew so hard within 2 hours after, and before they could be got a quarter of their way, and continued blowing so hard all night, and that from the northwest, which was against them, that I could not suppose their boat could leave, or that they ever reached their own coast. But to return to Friday, he was so busy about his father that I could not find in my heart to take him off for some time. But after I thought he could leave him a little, I called him to me, and he came jumping and laughing and pleased to the highest extreme. Then I asked him if he had given his father any bread. He shook his head and said, "None, ugly dog, eat all up self." I then gave him a cake of bread out of a little pouch I carried on purpose. I also gave him a dram for himself, but he would not taste it, but carried it to his father. I had in my pocket 2 or 3 bunches of raisins, so I gave him a handful of them for his father. He had no sooner given his father these raisins, but I saw him come out of the boat and run away as if he had been bewitched, for he was the sweetest fellow on his feet that ever I saw. I say he ran at such a rate that he was out of sight, as it were, in an instant, and though I called and hallooed out to after